What's up, Whittier?
Welcome to What's Up, Whittier, a homegrown podcast.
A podcast to showcase Whittier's businesses, personalities, and hidden treasures.
Hey guys, producer Christine here with this week's Community Corkboard announcements. This week's Community Corkboard announcements is brought to you by Zen's Tea House. Go to zenstea.com where you can learn more about the teas available from Zen's Tea House. You can go to visit Zen's Tea House every Friday at the farmer's market from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So what I like to do is I like to go to zenstea.com and I just like to look at the different teas, right? So right now I found the organic Dream of Flowers tea. Looks like it's about $1.50, which that's a deal. So it says here that the origin is from Egypt, France, India. Nighttime tea, rejuvenating and restful sleep, and a stomach soothing agent. It says here, #1 blend for sleepless nights. Our Dreams of Flower blend contains a perfectly balanced mixture of sedative herbs and flowers. This mix of Egyptian honey chamomile, rose petals, French lavender, and tulsi give every cup a sweet and spiced floral aroma and flavor. The ingredients are organic lavender, organic chamomile, organic rose petals, and organic tulsi, aka holy basil. So if you'd like for Zen's Tea House to customize a blend specifically for you, please send them an email at info@zenstea.com. Alright guys, so that's really cool. I didn't know that. I just saw that right now. So if you want a customized tea blend, definitely contact info@zenstea.com. If you'd like more information, I'm sure you can visit their website, zenstea.com, or visit them every Friday at the Uptown Farmers Market from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now back to the announcements. Alright, so now we've conquered Halloween, we've finished, voting. What's coming up next? Oh yeah, there's Thanksgiving, so that's awesome. And I do know about some upcoming Thanksgiving drives, so once I get those dates, I'll put them on the podcast, and you guys will be able to contribute and help support these families in Whittier in need. But for now, I have Social Media Sunday. So do you guys know what Social Media Sunday is? If not, definitely give their account a follow. It was created by Jennie and Pedro Villa from We Are Whittier. Give them a follow at We Are Whittier and follow their account at Whittier SMS. So there will be a Social Media Sunday marketplace. So all these accounts that you see on Instagram that don't have brick and mortars, well, you'll be able to meet them in real life on Sunday, November 25th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Gon's Decorations, 12031 Philadelphia Street. So again, if you want, I do believe that all of their booths are sold out. What's Up Whittier will be there. We are so grateful to be able to have the opportunity to have the booth there. Thank you so much, Pedro and Jennie. If you want more information, just send them a DM. They're really awesome. We were recording an episode with Pedro and Jennie, and, they're answering all the messages. So they're really dedicated, and they really want to support you guys if you have a small business or anything like that. So we hope to see you there at Social Media Marketplace, and we hope you guys will become more active with your Instagrams and stuff, right? Very cool. After Thanksgiving, what comes next? Well, let's start the holiday season. Why not? Join the Whittier Uptown Association as they put on their Uptown Whittier Holiday Sonata. So this time it's going to be on 2 nights. It's going to be Friday, November 30th and Saturday, December 1st at 6 p.m. The reason why it's going to be on 2 nights is so you have an opportunity to see Santa on 2 nights. Last year, there were so many people that some people didn't get to see Santa, which is really unfortunate, or they didn't get to ride in the horse-drawn carriage, or they didn't get to go on the Starline City tour bus. Well, this year you'll be able to experience that 2 nights in a row. There will be a vendor market on the grassy lot Saturday, December 1st. Again, this will be in Uptown Whittier, so you can park in the parking structure wherever, as long as you hit the main drag on Greenleaf between Philadelphia and Bailey. That's where actually all of Uptown, now that I think about it, because it goes all the way to Hadley. The Santa's Village is going to be by Sage, and then there's the marketplace, which is in the grassy lot, and then there are 3 or 4 different stations, I believe, where the horses will pick you up. So it'll be a really great time. Get out there for the holiday sonata, and if you have not had enough Christmas by that time, on Saturday, December 8th, join the Uptown Whittier Association for the Christmas Parade. I love the Christmas Parade. It's one of my favorite events of the entire year. And What's Up Whittier is actually going to be doing something special for the Christmas Parade. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll see you out there Saturday, December 8th at 10 a.m. in Uptown Whittier. All right, party people, looks like that's all I have this week for your Community Corkboard announcements. Your Community Corkboard announcements, again, were provided to you by Zen's Tea House. Visit them at zenstea.com and check out all of their social media at Zen's Tea House. And don't forget to follow What's Up Whittier. Follow us on Instagram. Check out the Twitter, What's Up 562. Check out the Facebook for sure, What's Up Whittier. Also, give our hosts a follow. Check out Remo the Realtor at Remo the Realtor on everything. The other day, I got locked out of the Nixon building because, I don't know if you know, you need a code to enter in the evening. And I left my phone upstairs in Jesse's office. And I had no way of getting in contact with Remo and Jessie. I don't know their numbers. I'm like outside. It's the evening. I see this lovely stranger. Shout out to Catherine. Catherine, if you ended up listening to the podcast, shout out to you. And I asked her if she could Google Remo the Realtor. And I said, okay, the phone number is 562-762, and I'll know the rest. And she found the number, and she called him, and I got to go upstairs. So, yeah, so that's how easy it is to get contact with Remo the Realtor. Just Google his stuff, and then maybe he'll give you a quote on your house, or let him know if you want to buy a house, upgrade your house, whatever. He'll be sure to help you. And I did the same thing for Jessie J2 Architect, but his phone was on silent because he's a really great host, and he was already ready to go, so he didn't hear the phone ring. But you can still follow him the same way. Just Google it, J2 Architects. Go to j2architects.com, at J2 Architects, or anything like that. You can follow me, producer Christine, at The Singing Moon. If you Google me, maybe my website will come up, and you can probably send me an email. That'll be cool. But if you have any other questions, you can send it to Christine at whatsupwhittier.com. Have anything else you'd like us to feature in the community corkboard announcements? Send it over to us. You can tag us in it on Instagram, and you can do email, communitycorkboard at whatsupwhittier.com. And if you have any other questions, just let us know. All right, guys, this is a really fun episode. Take it away, Jessie and Remo.
Oh,
hey, what's up, Whittier? How's everybody?
What's up, Whittier?
Who do we have, Remo?
We have Pedro, and we have Jennie. Is that Jennie, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's spelled a little different than the normal Jennies.
Because she's not normal.
I know.
Not normal.
So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having us.
Hold on. How else would you interpret that?
Jennie.
I-E.
Oh, I-E. How would Jennie?
No, I get called Janine
Janine?
and Jeannie a lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, because a lot of Egyptians have it spelled that way, and it's pronounced different, like Jennie or Jennie. Well, Jennie. All right.
Let's call me that for the whole interview. Let's do that one.
You can be wondering, like, who are they talking to? I'm talking to you. Anyway, so we have welcome, guys, by the way.
Thank you. We're excited to be here. Thank you.
We said you guys are with We Are Whittier.
Mm-hmm.
I guess before we get into who We Are Whittier is or what it's about, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourselves and I guess introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm formerly Jennie, now Jennie. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm a long time Whittier resident, and I met Pedro at the 6740. Still one of my favorite places in this whole entire city. And this was like 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, so wonderful. So we met 16 years ago. We've been married almost 10 years, and we have 2 boys. And I work full-time in the entertainment industry. I just recently moved from CBS to ABC Disney. So, I'm a former Zumba instructor, so I have a lot of my students out there. Hey, guys. Miss you guys. That's it. What else? What's interesting about me? Oh, and I've won a game show. That's it.
Oh, really? What is it that you do for ABC now?
I'm an executive assistant, so I work for vice presidents. I did that at CBS, and I do it for ABC Disney now.
Got it. Is it a specific show, or is it just the whole network?
It's production-based, so I do short-form production now here, and then at CBS I did technical and production operations.
Is short form, is that commercials?
We do specifically for like Disney Channel, Disney XD, a lot of that. So it's a lot of like the kids going, we'll be right back, guys, and like stick around.
20 times.
No, it's
times.
a lot of cute stuff. Like I'm just getting familiar with it, and because I have kids of the age that are going to start watching that stuff, I'm really taking the opportunity to familiarize myself with like the new cool Disney stuff. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it.
you're gonna be that mom that's like, "Hey kids, this is the stuff I worked on. Listen, right?"
Totally. I'm going to bring it home and be like, look what mommy did today.
That's
Yeah,
right.
especially growing up, did they loop certain shows over and over and watch the exact same show?
Oh my
right?
gosh,
do
you're
that
still
now.
doing
So you
it.
just do that with your commercials or with your shows?
Yeah.
It's just, here's mom.
Look at this music video we did.
yeah,
Watch it
funny.
over and
20
over.
times.
Yeah.
And what game show did you win? Or were you on?
It was a Hollywood game night with Jane Lynch. And funnily enough, a lot of the people have heard of Whittier. Like between the breaks, they were like, oh, yeah, Jane Lynch dated somebody in Whittier. So if you're out there listening and you dated Jane Lynch, she's talking about you, boo. And a lot of the celebrities there had heard of Whittier because of the food scene that's popping up over here. So if you're around town and you see a celebrity, don't be surprised because they know what's up now.
She recognized you as a celebrity.
Is that recent? Is that recent that you won that game? Or
I did it back in 2016, but it just aired last year in 2017.
oh, so it's recent, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
very cool. So did you win the new car, or what did
What
you
did we win? What did we win?
Okay, don't hit me up for money because it's already gone, but I won $25,000.
Wow.
Yeah, which we used responsibly like adults, and no, we didn't. I bought.
Which
a
is
bunch
why
of
you
shoes.
can explain all the beer that's sitting
Yeah.
here.
Look at what Mama bought.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was cool. It was like it was just a lot of fun, a lot of putting my useless trivial knowledge to good use. So I came home and I was like, see, reading all those gossip magazines paid
Right.
off.
What was the last question? Because I'm sure it gets tougher and tougher, right?
Yeah, so the last part of it is that you have to guess 10 celebrities. It's like charades, and you have to guess 10 celebrities in, was it 90 seconds?
Yeah.
90 seconds. And Chris Hardwick and, oh shoot, what's his name? David, he's really nice. He was on New Girl, and he was the boyfriend, Dr. Sam. But they gave me the clues, and the last celebrity that I guessed was Keanu Reeves. And then I said a really loud F word that had to be beeped and blurred.
Oh, no way.
But Keanu Reeves was the answer.
These celebrities had what in common? Is it just not?
It's random, which is what makes it kind of hard. So
But wouldn't that be easy? 9 celebrities, or is there
You-
9 celebrities that have lived in Los Angeles?
No,
or-
it's 10 just
Okay.
random. Like even Marsha Clark was one of the answers. So even though she's not like a celebrity,
celebrity,
she's a celebrity lawyer.
Wow.
But it was anything that you could just say. Any 10 celebrities. It didn't have
No,
to.
so there's like a screen behind me.
Okay.
And then there's the clue, the
Got it.
name, and then the celebrities that I'm looking at have to give me clues for me to guess the name behind me.
Oh, that's really.
So it was, like 30. I had like 30 seconds left.
Wow.
Do you guys want to talk about something? Whittier, maybe.
Let's talk about Whittier.
Yeah.
The food in Whittier. Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. And this is Pedro.
Yeah.
Go for better.
You're like, hold on, who's here?
Yeah. And I'm married to Jenny. I think that's all the time
Jennie,
we have.
Yes.
for-
Yes.
Thanks for having us, guys. Bye.
No, my name is Pedro. I actually grew up in Pico Rivera, just right on the other side of the 605. But I spent a lot of my memories here. I have a lot of memories growing up riding my bike and coming over because Whittier was just prettier, as they say, than Pico. So, yeah, I just grew up, met a lot of friends here. And when we got married, we moved to Alhambra for a couple of years, rented. And then we came to buy a house. And unfortunately, we didn't know Remo at the time. But we
Interview's
still
over. Let's.
we still managed to buy our house here, and we've fallen in love since. So we're here now 7 years in our home, raising
Time
2
to
kids.
upgrade, right?
You outgrew your house.
Yeah, so that's us.
And what is it that you do?
I work for a paint manufacturing company. I'm a plant manager there, so exciting stuff.
Which paint manufacturer?
It's called Dayglow Color.
Dayglow.
Yeah, we specialize in fluorescent coloring. So
Wow.
anything you see fluorescent is pretty much our color.
Nice.
So
Really?
yeah, so it's not as exciting as the entertainment industry, but I like to say I save people's lives
There you go.
with those street cones and
Yes.
Yes, you do.
those bright colored safety vests. So you're welcome, Whittier.
Yes. So all those construction, law enforcement, everyone that's
Yeah.
safe by you. Yeah.
That's funny.
And the flame retardant stuff that they drop on fires.
Yeah, so that's also our material when you see that stuff dropped on fires from the planes. So you're welcome again.
Nice. So you guys mentioned that you guys met at the 40. So what's the story behind that? I mean, who asked the first question or?
Well, I'll go into that. So I was a regular at the 40 for like 19 years now. And I knew everybody there, owners and staff, and we used to go every Thursday night, me and my cousin. And one Thursday, we noticed there was a new waitress walking around. And, we thought she was cute, but we thought, hey, let's give her a hard time. So we were just jerks the whole night.
A good Whittier welcome, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we were just, ordering drinks and telling her she brought the wrong stuff. And at the end of the night, she's fed up, and we just said, we don't have any money. Sorry, we can't pay for this. And it was her first Thursday night there, and she was just panicking. And we said, you know what? We're just joking. Don't worry about it. So we left. Following Thursday, me and my cousin go, and we walk in, and she's attending to a table. And we see her look at us, look back at her table.
Well, let me just say, I was having a great time with these guys. Good people. Like, we're laughing it up, having a good night. I see these two walk in. I say some more bad words about how awful they are.
Yeah, she had essentially just told the group that she hated us, that we were just jerks.
This is the second time or the first?
The second time.
Second time, okay.
Little did she know it was my brother's bachelor party that she was attending to. And they just erupt in laughter. And me and my cousin come down to sit at the same table that she just went off on us. And from there, it was, typical fairy book story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, but over time, we just made that connection. We really connected on music. I actually I didn't really like beer. I was more of a, I liked liquor, but I liked the 40. It was just a good vibe. But to continue seeing her, I had to keep drinking. And
what a hard thing to do, man.
I know, right? So along with the wife, I also got an alcohol,
an alcohol addiction.
dependency. Yeah, exactly.
No, and the ironic thing is that I don't drink beer.
Yeah.
I don't like beer. I don't drink it. So don't unfollow us because of that, okay? Pick up some other bad habit. But yeah, I don't like it. So he'd come in and have it. I'd let me buy you a beer, and he didn't know I didn't like beer until after. It was too late.
Like last month.
Suppose it won't seem like, oh, okay, I have a beer, but you're drinking it or sipping it because you're like,
or just pouring it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, oh, I can't drink out of a glass. So I'm gonna put in this Coke cup, this opaque red Coke cup, and I'd pour a Coke and be like, oh, this beer is so hoppy. Yeah. I don't know what the hell that is.
It hops a lot.
It was bad. I mean, I'd find any excuse to go in, and one time I saw her nodding her head to a song that was playing on jukebox, and I was like, oh, she must love this song. I played that song every time I went in for 6 months, only to find out she didn't like it.
Right?
Did you know this at what point?
No, so I found yesterday? No,
it was years later.
It was years later.
And I hated that song, but I was like,
well,
yeah, I don't, we'd put on music before we opened just to kind of get the bar ready, getting a good vibe and stuff, and he'd come in early sometimes, and whatever was on, I just love music, and if it's something's on, I'll move around to it. But so he thought this song was my favorite song, so he would put it on, and the whole while I'm thinking, this dude really likes him some Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's super into them, and especially this song. So I just went with it. I'm like, yeah, dude, best song ever. And we this lie continued until years later. He's like, I got to tell you something. I hate that song. I'm like, you dick. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure.
You not nice person.
But yeah, no. So I pretty much knew the place, back of my hand, and one of their bartenders, actually, his mom got sick, and he had to go to Mexico for what was supposed to be a week. And Mike, one day, the owner of the 40, if you guys don't know, he said, you know what, this place, just help us out. So at that moment, he's like, come behind the bar and start pouring. And that ended up being 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
No way,
really? Yeah.
Wow.
So we just
worked together.
And got to know each other. And she fell in love with me. And I was like, okay.
Help myself.
Yeah. And here we are 16 years later.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, so we owe Mike a ton of gratitude.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have won the lotto.
Oh, yeah.
And, have kids and, who knows?
Was it 4 or 5 months then for free?
No. Definitely
Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that on here, right? Come on. Mike's gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah.
Reimbursed free labor.
Yeah. But so that's the story of us.
Yeah. Good job.
So obviously, who made the first move though? I mean, who asked who out? Or
I made the cheesy move.
Yeah.
You know, like writing my name on a what is it?
It was a matchbook.
A
At the
matchbook.
time, the 40 had matchbooks.
There used to be matchbooks back in the world.
This is
Right.
before lighters. No, I'm just kidding.
But I would do little cheesy things like that and play the songs and so forth. But she was quick to say, I'm in a relationship, or, you know, I don't want to be. Once that relationship ended, she's like, I'm not ready to get another one. I was like, that's fine. Me too. Yet I continue to
You know, I'm
try to act
today,
cool.
but tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
Samesies.
right? I'll ask you
Samesies.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
1 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah.
So it took a while, but eventually I won her over.
Yeah, it just worked out better becoming friends first and not having that pressure of like impressing somebody. So that worked out well.
Which was what it was even better was that she had to ask me if, you know, we wanted
Oh,
to be
yeah.
boyfriend and girlfriend. So
Yeah.
that's the move there.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
nice.
you can pull that off, you know.
You're golden. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, she's all right.
So where does I guess explain to us what We Are Whittier.
Yes.
What is that about, or what's the story behind that?
So We Are Whittier, it's an idea that I had about 2 years ago, and it was just marrying two forms of communication, storytelling being one, which is, you know, one of the oldest forms of communication, and using technology today to kind of marry those two and just really find a common theme that people can share stories about, and that theme was Whittier. I never had a social media account. I was not a fan of social media, and my wife Jennie had more of a presence, so I kept asking her, hey, I have this idea, you should really go with it. She liked the idea, but she had her, you know, business account, she had her personal account, and she just kept pushing it off. So finally one day, about a year after I first came up with the idea, I was like, just show me how to create an account. So I created an Instagram account, and she really helped me through it. And I said, you know, you're going to be the face of this, because this is not my thing, but, you know.
If you're watching this live on Instagram right now, you can't see Pedro, and that's not on accident.
You only see a mic on the screen right now. You don't even.
Here I am.
He's the voice behind the screen.
He's modeling the hands there.
Yeah, but so what it was is just it was an outlet for people to just share a story about Whittier and try to find a way to bring people together, because as much as we feel connected with social media, there's that disconnect where we don't really like talk to people as we used to. You know, like you have 100 friends, but how many do you really talk to, or so forth? So we just wanted to develop something like that, and you know, Instagram is great for a highlight reel, you know, but we thought it could be more. It could be used for good, and you know, we were inspired by a lot of accounts, yours included, about like what you guys were doing for the community. So we just wanted to do something.
Yeah, it was. I took a lot of inspiration from Humans of New York, which is a photojournalist who goes around New York, snaps a picture, random time of day, random person, and just asks them to speak a little bit about themselves. And it's so raw and human and real. And I wanted to do something like that. And then also, because of my commute to Hollywood, I listen to all the podcasts in all the world.
Right,
And
yeah.
so The Moth is a live storytelling one, and that was really inspirational to me. So kind of putting that twist on it, and then wanting to just involve the community in some way. It was just a really good meshing of ideas, and it kind of grew organically and made sense to us to do it this way. And we just started really slow, and we're still growing and still building because we just want people to really know our true organic intent is to involve the community and share stories and bring people together.
So how does it work? I mean, if someone that's not following you right now, can you explain how you bring the storytelling on the profile? Is it interviews? Is it...
So we started the process with, we have a website, wearewhittier.com, where you can go on and submit your own story online. There really is no rules, so long as the story relates to Whittier in some way. But it's not exclusive to a certain group or a certain demographic. We've had students in high school share a story with us, and we've had senior citizens and everybody in between. So there really is no, criteria just so much as it relates to Whittier. So we have that option, or there are some people that have been hesitant, feeling that they're not great writers or so forth, because I think the value in what we do is that it's your story, your words. And sometimes more so than the story is the way you tell it that can connect somebody. So we really, make it a point to make sure that your stamp is on it. But we've also, in the past 6-8 months, have met with people who feel like they don't want to write down their story, and we simply literally just record our conversation, and then we transcribe it for them, and we go back and forth with drafts until they feel completely happy with it, and then we'll post it. And, we share it with some photos to go along with the story, and it's been a great success. We've gotten a lot of support from the community and from other social media accounts, and that's the whole goal behind it. You'd be surprised how much things you have in common with complete strangers. And the theme of Whittier is essentially just the starting line, and from there it just blossoms.
Yeah, and early on, we enlisted a lot of friends and family. Hey, we're starting this thing. We know you have some really cool Whittier stories. So we started that way, and then opened it up to people just sending us a DM and say hey, I want to talk about this. Is that cool? And then we do it by email, or so there's all kinds of ways, but if you have a story that you want to tell, we're happy to work with you in sharing it. And we provide, or we ask that you guys provide pictures as well to kind of go along with it. And if you're new to us, just kind of scroll around and check it out, and you'll see maybe some familiar faces and read some stories that sound kind of like yours. And again, it's just about bringing connection between people and community members.
Well, I think obviously I follow you guys, and I read a couple stories that you guys have posted. For me, what's cool is that I don't necessarily feel what they're going through, but just knowing that somebody's able to kind of persevere and turn something that was essentially bad or negative into something that's great and kind of flourishing in a positive way. Yeah. So for me, it's getting some good vibes, and it's a feel good kind of story. Yeah. But man, there's a couple that I read that was you feel for people, right? It's it's one of those things where I can't believe that something like this would happen. But again, then you look at it from the positive side of things, and it's man, people kind of pick up and go. They're not just sitting there saying, "Why me?" or "Why is all this bad happening to me?" So, I think you guys are doing good things. I think it's obviously something that's needed because, with news nowadays, all the report is the bad stuff, right? Yeah. To kind of depress everybody.
Yeah, seriously.
To get ratings.
Yeah. And so to be able to do something that's a positive kind of outlet, and have it available for people to either, listen to or I know you guys are right now just reading, right? Yeah. It's all just online. Yeah. But man, I would encourage you guys to do something audio-wise if maybe it's short stories or something like that.
Yeah,
to be able to, again, I'm in your boat. Yeah. I'm more about podcasting and listening to stuff on the go, or even when you're working out or doing something it's good to just kind of put that listening story and because for me, again, I'm more when I listen to something, I kind of feel like I'm part of that conversation. Right. And so to be able to kind of have these stories on there, and I know, it'd be hard to get their voices on there, but even if it's a good narrator, I think it'll do well.
Yeah, it's really cool, because we've been doing a lot of in-person interviews and kind of recording that. When we listen back to it, it feels like a podcast to me. Yeah. And you get that vibe and that, laughter and that break in between and that, human connection that happens. So that's something from the very beginning that's always been on my wish list for where we go with this in the future. I've always wanted to do either live storytelling events or podcasts. Cool, yeah, and just have it be storytelling. But to go back really quick to a point that you made is, when people share these really personal stories, the bonus that we get to see is having in the comment section all of the community support and people going like, oh, that same thing happened to me, and I support you, and like, oh, that's so cool that you're doing that. And you just get that. That's the community support that Pedro was talking about, where you have, using social media to connect people in a way that sometimes you feel disconnected. But this like conversation that happens in the comments is really cool.
Here we are at Zen's Tea House. Let me show you what we got. We have organics, we have tea tasting, we have manufacturing. But the truth is, it's our naturopathic doctors, our homeopathic doctors, and team of herbal specialists that are really behind the Zen's Tea House movement. If you'd like to learn more about what Zen's Tea House is really about, take a look at the website, www.zenstea.com.
Was there one story that stuck out with each of you? And was it maybe the
They're
same
all my
story?
favorites.
It's like asking to pick a favorite child,
Yeah.
right?
No,
There's always one.
No.
No, but was there something you guys like listened to and you're like, man, that one like hit me hard, or that one pushed me to the next level? Or
I was I actually interviewed somebody who shared their story about losing their wife, and I was scared to meet them because I wasn't sure how I was going to react, because somebody's essentially just pouring their life out to a stranger, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to react to it because I found similarities between me and this person, and I thankfully have my wife with me and he didn't. But there wasn't, like you were mentioning, that even though you're not going through the same thing, there's always that underlying theme of something that you can relate to, something you can connect to. But it was very inspiring. I kind of came out of the meeting I came in thinking I was going to feel sorry for him. And I came out of that meeting being like, he's fine. He's stronger than I am. Yeah. And he's inspiring me. Yeah. And that was Javier's story. And I was completely baffled. I didn't think I was going to get that. But if I didn't have that connection, I would have never got to know him, know his story. And it was truly special. And that's what I love about this project, more so, is that not only for the reader, but for the person telling the story, it's very therapeutic. It can help them feel better as well as the reader. And then, like Jennie was mentioning about comments, these are strangers that are coming out and just giving you positive, comments or notes.
Support,
so, yeah. What about you? Did you have a favorite?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. A few just kind of jumped out, so I'm going to go with them just because of the first that popped into my head. But there was one that we did right around Father's Day that was about a stepfather and his struggle in the relationship of kind of feeling left out as a father figure, but also being the one that was there constantly, and just, his hope that one day his stepson will start calling him dad, and that just gets me every time. And then there's other stuff that we had somebody share about a friend that they lost to drunk driving, and we shared that around what was it, a New Year's time. Yeah. And so it's stuff like that where we're not preaching to anybody, but we're also sharing people's personal stories about people they've lost, or people relationships, or whatever it is, that we hope that'll touch somebody on a level. And maybe if there was at least one person that said I just read a story about this and I don't feel comfortable driving, I'll Uber it, whatever. That's all we can really hope for.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, just take the example of the stepfather. Mm-hmm. If you have a listener who's maybe the kid or the son, then they're like, man, I wonder if my stepdad's thinking the same thing,
Right.
And that'll click on him,
right?
So I think, there's different reasons why I think you guys are doing good things. Yeah. But just stuff like that is just, you're right. You don't know who you're touching in a certain way. So.
Well, the great thing about that story in particular was that he had never spoken to his wife about it.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first time her reading the story, is that she found out how he really felt.
Yeah, the conversation started.
But, not all of our stories are, pulling at your heart. Some we have people who moved away, and they just talked about all their favorite places to eat. And
which are fine by me too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a connection because all the comments were like, "Oh, I love that place too. I get the same thing," and just that simple connection that, you know, we were always happy when we hear that somebody who shared a story with us, somebody came up to them and said, "Oh, hey, I read your story. I also went to that high school and I had the same experience." So that's really cool because sometimes that interaction can end there, but we've also heard of people that have made friendships and they keep talking through that. So, you know, it's really amazing. I mean, we couldn't be happier with it.
Well, now with technology, I mean, you know, when we had when we interviewed Tim from the museum, you know, he brought up a good point from us doing the podcast, which really applies to what you guys are doing too.
Sure.
I mean, you're essentially creating a piece that will stay in an archive, in a digital archive, where, you know, whatever, 100 years from now, somebody's going to Google Whittier, and then all this, you know, Skateland's going to pop up, and it's like, oh man, I didn't realize, you know. It's like when we open up those old pictures from Whittier, black and white, it's like, like, oh, there were no streets down Greenleaf, you know. Where these trees come from, like, you know, kind of stuff like that. And again, it's kind of cool that we live in these times because now we can really, you know, document better, and to be able to get that full range, you know, of people to talk about it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and that's what, like, when we talk about what We Are Whittier is, we kind of feel like it's a business and everybody's a stakeholder because it's not about us. It's not about our view of things. It's not about our ideas or perception of Whittier. It's really just, it's open to the community, and they're all kind of, you know, shareholders. Like, they contribute by sharing their story. If you like our story, you're participating, and it's really just it's just kind of like a platform for the city. You know.
Do you ever get a shortage of content, or do you guys have more content, like more stories than you actually put out?
Oh, it comes and goes. Like early on, like I said, I was like emailing every person I've ever met. Like, hey, you came to Whittier that one time, right?
You're Whittier adjacent, right? Come on in.
Whittier, Alaska.
You've heard of Whittier, right? No, so you know, when we first started, we kind of wanted to have a backup. So we did a lot of content. We had a lot of stuff ready to go and lined up. And then as we went, and again, as we kind of see, or as we hope people see, like, what we're doing and kind of what we're about and get an idea of, like, how it works and stuff, we've been open to people. Luckily, we've had people reach out and want to share with us. And at the same time, because we're still really new, we just celebrated 1 year in September. So because we're still really new, we still rely heavily on this guy. Well, Pedro, I'm pointing to Pedro. Forget that this is
the guy behind the wall.
This guy, este vato, that we really rely on reaching out and kind of courting people and saying, like, hey, you know, I see that you did this really cool thing. Would you be up for sharing a story? And that's kind of how we get into it too. So, yeah, I think we have like maybe one or two like banked right now, but we're really focusing on our November project, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. But so we have like a mild safety net, but we're always looking for more. We're always open to hearing your stories anytime.
I know a guy who's this guy's always pushing this certain type product. Well-known guy. I mean, if you guys ever want to.
Yeah, no,
totally. I could put you in contact with them.
Yeah,
sure. Talk about yourself.
It's a guy next to me.
He looks at me like I'm the one. You're talking about yourself.
He's gonna launch Hummus LLC soon.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. A lot of people feel like, oh, I don't have a story, or I don't think I have anything interesting about my life. But it's if you were to just speak with somebody casually for 5 minutes, you're going to find out a whole lot of new things. Yeah. And as I mentioned earlier, that sometimes it isn't the story, but the way you tell it, the words you use that connect.
Yeah.
And what I used to tell people who were hesitant at first and said, I'm not a good writer, I would always say, you know, Shakespeare's considered the greatest writer in the world, but not everybody likes to read Shakespeare. Yeah. You know, so maybe it's just, like I said, you mentioning a restaurant that you like, that can bring a connection among people. Yep. So it doesn't need to take something extraordinary. You know, I think everybody is extraordinary. It isn't your story that is extraordinary. It's you.
And I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know if it's because of social media, and that, or our cell phones, and that kind of keeps us very antisocial, I guess.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, everybody has a story. Yeah. But for whatever reason, you get in an elevator and everybody's like, "How's the weather today?"
Yeah.
Well, you can't go into like personal stuff, right?
No. But we're just talking.
No,
about
I jump in. I jump in. If I'm in an elevator, I'm like, "What's the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to you?"
Really?
No,
Because we need content.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like
That's pretty gangster.
Right.
in an elevator. Too.
I'm gonna now.
Yeah. You actually pull the button to
Yeah,
stop.
like,
I'm not
let's
going to
stop.
release
Yeah.
it until you tell me.
Yeah, no, and again, it's one of those things where I don't know why. Again, whether we blame it on something or not, but you're right. I mean, just having those conversations a little bit more. I mean, it does several things. One, you get something out of somebody that could either work for you or not, but also you feel good walking out of some of these conversations.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
man, like I
You
think
feel
I'm having
deeper,
a bad day.
You feel like you have a deeper connection. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Where you were mentioning it with the social media and being kind of disconnected because everyone's
Yeah.
kind of on their phone. But when you have a very genuine conversation with someone, it feels so much more human.
You feel
Yeah.
that in your soul.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I'm talking to this guy, and he has like he's telling me how bad his day is going. I turn on my head. I'm like, man, I'm having a good day. You know.
I don't think I've ever told you I've had
I'm
a
just
bad
saying.
day.
I'm just saying. You know, it's
Wrong,
like
dude.
It's one of those things where like we kind of tend to lose that connection, and really what it does for us. I mean, it's oh man, it does a lot of things psyche wise, and I think again if we could get into that mode.
Sure.
Instead of asking how the weather is,
Yeah.
and get conversation on different topics. Because the other thing too is that people are afraid of talking about certain things,
Yeah.
thinking that the
Yeah.
other person is going to be either turned off or not interested in it.
Right.
But you'd be surprised, man. I mean, you know,
Jesse, what do you want to talk about, Jesse?
well, I have this thing that's happening.
Wait, save
right
it
now.
for
It's
us.
like-
Did that rash not go away?
almost from a scale of 1 to 10.
It
It's
came back. Huh?
Hold on, let me get my recorder.
no, it's again, man. I wish we could do it more often as human beings, because I think it's something that's missing.
Well, I was going to add to that. Just as much as talking is important, listening is just as important. We search out our news and we search out what we want to see and we search out our content. But we also need to going back to what you're saying, like people are just so busy with their phones. It's kind of like you got to be open to listening and let answer somebody who asks you a question that you seem odd. Like if somebody asks you how's your day going, people are kind of like, what? I don't know you. But that shouldn't be.
What do you want to know?
Exactly.
Why? What are you going to sell me?
Exactly.
Oh man, no. I mean, talking about Whittier, what is it? The one thing that you guys have seen from most people who you've interviewed that they all kind of gravitate to in terms of Whittier? Do they have
A certain characteristic.
Yeah,
It's definitely a small town
Mm-hmm.
community, and
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, Uptown is it's the central hub of the city, and a lot of other cities don't have that. But whether you're from South Whittier or West, East, we seem to still associate Whittier with the small town, community, and that's really what motivated us to really take the next step and say, let's do this, because we kind of felt like in the past 7 years there's been a transition where people have been more excited or just more into the community and so forth. So we thought we got to build on this, and let's just try to put the word out there that we can talk to each other.
Yeah.
Well, Ricardo said it well. Ricardo Diaz said it well. We interviewed him. That it's essentially a generation. It takes a generation for it to start kind of changing things.
Ricardo, you were sharing something. I know we had dinner with Jesse maybe a month or two ago, and I thought something you said was really interesting, that it takes a generation to be able to turn Whittier into a Pasadena. So do you want to maybe elaborate on something like that?
Yeah, Pasadena is a prime example. Yeah, that took about a generation. It was just antique stores, some kind of old school stores there in Pasadena in the early 80s, and some restaurants started coming in and, kind of transforming the place. And that, that's what it takes here in Whittier.
Yeah.
And I think we're in that moment where you're having I say young generation, but it's not young in terms of age, young in the sense of You're thinking about new concepts, new ideas.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're dealing with new technology, new forms of communication, and just taking that and incorporating it into what we do on a daily basis, which is what's gonna, I think, put us in the next, I guess, level or stage.
Yeah.
And you're right. That leads to different things because now, aside from us having these conversations, I mean, we're essentially in a position where we can make things happen. Also, I mean, from transforming the city to what it looks like to where it could be, and who we attract too. I mean, people see it as like, again, I'm South Whittier, so even people from that end, even from the La Mirada side, Norwalk side, you get people like when I'm telling them I'm in Uptown, they're like, oh man, you're next to and so, and you're next to so and so. It's like, oh yeah, I had chicken wings there. I had beer's good there, And it's always that trying to. I do that too. Where like, I might not know how to give directions well by streets, but I know how to get you there by landmarks. So it's kind of like, well, you're there, and I'm like, yeah, you're
Stop
right.
by, get some pizza there.
But again, it's one of those things where from our end, if we could keep that going, I mean, oh man, this town's going to change.
Well, and it's so easy now because, it took me a while to realize how powerful social media is. You can literally just start an account one day and bring people together. Yeah. For a cause or for whatever you intend to share. But whether you have a few followers or there's people who have thousands of followers, it's free. And, we're just trying to find a new way, not necessarily a new way, but just a different way than Instagram is really
a constructive and heartfelt and soulful way to use it.
Yeah. And we still enjoy seeing your pictures of food and
everybody
everybody
don't
else
stop
there.
that. Yeah. You guys
but
keep on keeping on.
For me, not being a social media person, this was an easy transition for me to say, okay, I'm going to do this if I can find a way that relates to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And what direction do you guys, I mean, you said it's been a year now. Where do you see things going for We Are Whittier?
T-shirts, feature films. No. Just kidding.
And the list goes on.
No, as Jenny mentioned earlier, we'd really love to bring live storytelling to the city of Whittier. We think it'd just be a fun cultural event that's open to all ages. And that's something that we've talked about maybe doing next year.
Yeah, and the college kids love it, man.
Yeah.
They're all into the NPR moth.
Yeah.
What does live storytelling look like? Like, is it not saying...
It's like picture kind of like an open mic night, and people kind of come prepared with stories, and you usually have a time limit. Before then, if it's kind of an involved type of organization, you can do storytelling workshops where you have people come in with kind of an idea of a story they want to tell, and then we workshop it, and then we kind of go, okay, beginning, middle, end, where's the conflict, where's the resolution.
Fictional, non-fictional?
Personally, I'd prefer the non-fictional to be real and based in real life, because to me those are the more fascinating stories. Like anybody can make stuff up, and those, as entertaining as that is, I think there's just some kind of soulful connection that happens when it's real, and when the storyteller is who it's happened to, and they have that extra spark in their storytelling that people connect to.
Yeah, we're not looking for people who can write. We're looking for people who live.
Yeah. Ooh, put that on a shirt. Write that down.
There you go. Well, it's recorded, so you can reference it later.
Trademark.
Mark it. Christine, what time is it?
38, 52 seconds. That's...
But that's kind of cool. Way back when I used to travel to South Pasadena for specifically that. They used to have it was kind of poetry, but it was really people speaking about their lives, and they did it in a bookstore.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get.
Right.
And there was a couple times when I would walk in, I'm like, man, what are these guys smoking?
Because I've never been that high.
I'm like, how the hell do these guys see aliens 3 times? But
on
again,
a Wednesday, aliens don't go out on a Wednesday.
but just the way they got into it, the mannerisms, their facial expressions. They would get up, they would sit down, they would get on. What do you call it?
Underneath?
No, sit on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Across
Indian style.
Crisscross applesauce.
There you
That's
go.
what all the kids say.
And it's like, man, it's an art form.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like watching a dance or a
Right.
performance live,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And again, it's good if you could find that person who could tell the story well.
Right.
Yeah.
The story could be, them ranching somewhere in I don't know
Yeah.
where.
Right.
But if they say it well,
Right.
oh man, I miss priceless.
It's about painting a picture with their performance and their words. I
Yeah.
mean, really, it's you up there with a microphone, and it's your responsibility and your duty to transport your audience to relive that story with you.
Yeah.
So that's what I eventually want to get to. Like, I want to take some storytelling workshops of my own and then parlay that and see if there's a way through the city or through some of the schools to kind of workshop that with the younger kids. Like, I want to start with junior high kids, and I want to get them comfortable being authentic, unique, and telling their story, because kids have such a hard time, especially with social media. But yeah.
Well, you know what the kind of stories you're gonna get, right? The LOL and IOU.
I want them to use
It's a
real
bunch of
words.
letters.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in your profession, you guys do public speaking, and that's really hard. And it's it's a big fear for a lot of people. So that's why I think the workshop kind of helps. It makes not just them feel comfortable, but you want to ensure that if this person is going to put themselves up on the stage and share a story,
Personal too.
you don't want to have them lose the audience because they're not communicating it, in a way that can connect to people. So, and that's what we do with our stories. I mean, we go back, we've had drafts, and it isn't necessarily that we're trying to change their story, but it's just trying to like hone it in a little bit more, because some people can just write, and it's all over the place, which is fine, but Instagram has a limit on characters. So
it's like, just give them the Twitter, right? Like, say, hey,
There you go.
Character
Six
limit.
months.
Give me
Yeah.
410 words. Go.
Yeah. Now, I always tell people, write as much as you want, and then we'll cut it down.
I used to hate that when I used to go to school. It's like you got to have X amount of
500 words.
letters,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
words, and then pages, front and back, and I'm like, what? I don't know how much space I used to give in those between the words, and I'd look for the biggest words.
Right,
that
go to
have,
thesaurus.
Yeah.
Just like,
oh man, if I had technology when I was going to school like we have now, oh man, I'd be a wrecking ball. Well, no, think about it.
You had
Thesaurus.
typewriters, right?
Yeah,
What
we
did
had.
you have, a typewriter?
Actually, that's when I was in school when they had the electronic typewriter. So talk about, that's a long time ago, man.
Yeah, it is a long time.
In
Well,
technology years.
Yeah,
Right.
but the great thing, like you were talking about generational, is that like a few years ago it was just a younger, audience that was on social media, but now like people of all ages, your parents and your grandparents are on Facebook, and it's a lot easier to kind of communicate now and kind of really get a full scope vision of the world.
Yeah. Oh man, so do you guys have your guys' stories on We Are Whittier yet or no?
No,
yeah, we do.
we
When we
posted
fir-
before we went live.
Yeah.
Just to
first
kind of
one.
give people like an idea of.
It was like a template. Like, look, I'll tell a story, you tell a story, and then, that was it, right? Or
Yeah.
did we tell I think we told the story of how we met, and it was just really brief, and why we were doing We Are Whittier, and then we each put up a story. I talked about my junior high experience. You talked about
Being in
playing in a
bands.
band and playing
all over
in
Whittier. Yeah.
So that's if you're interested, you want to go back.
I'll be good.
Go back to the archives. You can check those out.
Nice.
Yeah, we really try to avoid putting
Yeah, we
our stamp on it
Right.
because, again, we really want it to be for the community and not what we're doing or what we're up to.
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm not on camera.
Oh yeah.
Your nose was almost on
So-
camera there.
So the conversation we were having earlier about pizza. I mean, I'm a pizza fanatic, so let's start off with what is the best pizza in Whittier?
Oh, don't look at me. Okay.
No, I'm looking at both of you guys.
Yeah,
You guys got to give me
yeah.
your
They're
favorite.
kind of like all of our children.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. They see, I have kids too. They have a little different standard than I do.
Yeah. Same.
And
same.
so they could do,
Right.
Little Caesars or
Yeah.
actually my kid's into Piara or Pizzara or
Pizzara.
whatever that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, huh?
Piara pizza?
Piara
Yeah.
pizza.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they
okay.
think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
like the best pizza ever. I'm like, what?
Oh my. Okay, so I'm gonna go with by pure nostalgia factor, it's actually a tie between Brickhouse Pizza and Marco Polo.
Okay.
Both I frequented like practically almost every day through through high school. So those two, but I mean, God, you can't go wrong with Pizza Mania, Pizza 21. I mean, Pizza 21's new. We just tried them. They're really good.
Uptown Pizza Co.
Uptown Pizza Company.
Joe Peeps.
Oh my God!
We're just gonna name them all.
We're just gonna.
No. Here. So if it's pizza night, where are you guys going?
Oh so my pick is Brickhouse. Like I'd go because I like their salad and wings and stuff too. I mean, but that's the whole family meal.
I haven't had the wings yet.
That's pretty good. And now that Alondra's open, wings though. Sorry, we're talking pizza. Sorry, stay focused.
That's the next question.
That's next. Okay, good. Pizza night for me is it's Brickhouse Pizza or it's Pizza 21. They're similar, and
Style.
I like that. Yeah.
See, I'm a thin crust kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you guys ever went to the in Montebello. I won't say, I'm already forgetting the name, but it's off of Garfield. Mm-hmm. Garfield and the 60 freeway. They had some like really thin crust. It's Neapolitan. There you go.
Is that ice cream?
Pizza.
No,
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Oh man, the pizza
Really?
is amazing. But again, it's a drive. Yeah. It's like
Well,
it's not in Whittier either.
Yeah, just
Come on. What is this? What's up, Montebello?
But again, for me, pizza night is we usually Fridays is our pizza night.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I gotta make sure that the kids are gonna love it. And I'm South Whittier, so it's either between Pizza Mania, and our go-to right now is Gondolas, which is not Whittier.
There he goes again.
But again, it's one of those things where like, man, if I'm up here, then you're right.
Yeah.
My kid loves what's it down the street?
Marco Polo?
Marco Polo.
Mm-hmm.
He calls it stinky pizza. Stinky Place Pizza. And if you've been there often, you probably know why. But man, that pizza, the crust is really good.
Yeah. And we love Kim too because these guys used to order constantly growing up. So when they
Marco Polo is my babysitter.
Marco Polo. So whenever he would call, like Kim would answer. And she'd be like, "Oh, hey," she'd call you Jerry all the time, his brother's name. But anyway, they'd order their pizzas. So she first name basis. So we took the kids there, and she was just like, "Oh my God!" Yeah. She just remembered him after all these years, actually going in.
But still called you your brother's name or no?
Yeah. What kind of topping you guys look at when you guys order pizza? Is it just
I am traditional pepperoni and cheese all day, every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Extra crispy? No crispy?
It doesn't matter. Pizza, you know what? Pizza is just a God creation of magical unicorn and rainbow tears. I can't.
Like, I don't know why it gets a bad rap because, like, the more you eat, it literally makes more of you.
Right.
And how could that be bad?
I started doing, my kids started doing this, and for whatever reason, I started doing what he's doing. And now it's a way I eat my pizza is that he eats the crust first. Or he would pull the crust off.
Right.
And then he would dip it in ranch.
Okay.
That
kind of guy.
And then he started eating the pizza by itself. I'm like, why would you? And if you don't know the kind of science behind why there's crust on pizza, if you want to know.
Go ahead, Jesse.
It's to hold the pizza slice in place, man, so it doesn't fall off.
Right.
I mean, I know that's true, but I'm making it up. I mean, it sounds right.
It sounded legit.
It's a handle. You need a handle for the pizza.
Exactly. Because as soon as I start doing the thing that my kid does, the pizza starts falling apart. Man.
Right.
But anyway, so that's
it's not architecturally sound.
Exactly. So now I do that, man. It's crazy. But anyways, and of course my kids are all cheese only, so it's kind of hard to.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You get something and just tell them remove it and give it to you.
No,
no,
man.
pizza.
It's one of those things where
you can't touch your cheese pizza.
Right.
You can't touch their cheese pizza.
No, because you'll do half and half.
They'll be like, "No, a pepperoni just touched my cheese."
Yeah, by the time they're kind of coming over to my side, then they're like, "Well, I don't want pepperoni on it." It's like, well, what do? Yeah. So, anyways, you'll get there, Remo.
I feel if we share that story, you're gonna have a lot of people, on your side.
So
connection.
That's your story.
Yeah,
that's my story. Pizza, my endless journey to find good pizza, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. There's so many good places in Whittier.
Yeah, that's right. So let's get to anything that you guys got coming on, event-wise or community-wise.
Yeah, we actually have an event that we're planning. It's our inaugural event, and it's called the Social Media Sunday Marketplace. It's a take on a project that we did last year. I had this idea surrounding the Thanksgiving weekend where we're all aware of Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday, but what about Sunday? So I thought, why don't we use that day to kind of highlight all the Whittier social media accounts that don't have a brick and mortar or storefront, but still offer a product or service, and there's quite a few, and it was also kind of like what I like to think of it is a reset button. So on that day, we created a hashtag called #WhittierSMS, and we encouraged people to just create a post where they just introduce themselves and did a little something about what they do or what they offer, and it was just a way to kind of network, a digital network, kind of session in a way. But it was really important because I think sometimes you might jump onto a new account and you might not ever know who that person is, or you don't really often say who you are and what you do, So it was a nice reset button, and on that day, which is the Sunday, you were able to kind of go to that hashtag and just find all these new accounts that you didn't know were out there.
And all the hashtag was based around these introduction posts. So you'd go and you'd scroll through and you'd see somebody that maybe you followed for a year, 2 years, and then all of a sudden there's a video and you get to know them a little better. You get to know their business a little better, and it's just like starting from the beginning. So maybe you weren't following them when they first started. So now you have an opportunity to kind of get to know them, why they do what they do and what they do. And we had the hashtag like kind of flood. It was just all these people like introducing themselves. And a lot of people networked that way. They made connections. We made a lot of new connections that day too. And it gave us a chance to kind of introduce ourselves and what we did and stuff. So this year, and you kind of had the idea last year a little bit too, kind of around the same time. But this year we wanted to kind of step it up a notch, and he had the idea, like, why don't we create an actual physical marketplace for these people to come, sell their goods, craft fairs, pop-ups, those are happening so often. Let's just give it a shot, see what happens.
Yeah, and it was dedicated to those same accounts that don't have a storefront. But it gave them an opportunity, and we're excited about it. I mean, doing this venture of We Are Whittier has really pushed us to kind of take the next step and try new things, especially for me and my wife. We both work full-time. We have kids. So this has been like a fun outlet for us to like use our creativity because, as you know, having kids, you tend to kind of put stuff aside that you used to do and you don't really get to do anymore.
Of course.
Like
Thursday nights at the 40.
Yeah, exactly.
We go on Wednesdays now because that's when we have a babysitter.
Yeah. But so this has kind of been like that creative outlet for us to actually be able to do from the comfort of our house without having to go out and stuff. But so yeah, this year it's going to be at Gon's Decoration, which is just down the street on Philadelphia, 12031 Philadelphia Street.
You memorize the address?
I did for this.
Good for you.
And we have over 30 vendors. We're going to have live music that's curated by Bethany of Whittier Wondering. And we're going to have some food, and we're going to have raffles and a kids' corner. It's a free, family-friendly event.
And it's on a Sunday after Thanksgiving, so it's perfect timing if you guys want to go find all your Christmas gifts early.
Yeah, because we're really what we're trying to do is just really highlight those Whittier local accounts because you need to support them because those are the same people that are shopping in our businesses.
Right.
And if there's anything we can do to kind of just highlight them a bit, that's what we're trying to do.
And I saw on your guys' Instagram that the event is sold out. Is it sold out?
As far as vendors.
Got
that could be confusing. So let's clarify that the vendor space is sold out. That means we have a lot of great vendors for you. But because it's a free event, you guys come and go as you please and bring your friends and family to shop.
It's outdoors, and it's right centrally located near Greenleaf and Uptown District. So we're hoping we get people from outside cities to come see these amazing vendors and get to walk around and see Whittier if they don't know it already.
What are the times for?
So the event is going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
So yeah, feel free to stop by. We're also going to be doing the online project again. So if you're not going to be participating, maybe you missed the deadline. If you're a photographer, a baker, craft maker, or just a personality on Instagram, you're an influencer, we're going to be spreading the news of how to participate. And again, it's just introducing yourself and, letting the community know what you do and what you have to offer.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it, like a reset button where you kind of just go. It could be in a story, like an Instagram story where it's 15 seconds. If you use the hashtag, it could be a post that you put up. But yeah, as long as you use the hashtag Whittier SMS, then you'll be included in that, and people can kind of search you out or kind of just browse.
Find their
Whittier
next architect or their next,
realtor.
realtor. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I got a guy who's a personality that could get on there.
Well, I had a question.
Yes, Remo, you could get on.
I forgot my question.
You got a spot. just hashtag SMS.
Oh, should people do that video or that post prior to coming to the event, or should they do it at the event?
Oh, yeah.
They just have on that day, November 25th, Sunday, is when you're going to make your post.
But is the idea that I've read 10 people already and I'm going to meet them, or that I'm going to go meet some people and I'm also going to read some stories and then see them later?
No, that's going to be, we're going to be promoting each of the vendors prior to the event, so you'll get to see who's there and what they offer. But the online project itself is just going to be on that day.
Yes.
And it's, there's no rules or criteria. You can do it just straightforward, or you can be creative with it. It's just, again, just saying hi to your existing followers, because a lot of times we don't really do that. Whether you have 10 followers or you have 30,000 followers, you don't really say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and thanks for following me. It's just a reset button to kind of just give everybody, old and new, an opportunity to get to know you.
When I do my video, I'm going to do it like tomorrow, so we could...
There you go.
We could be the first ones.
Yes. Yes. It's interesting that you guys say that about the... well...
Christine's giving you the finger.
Yes,
the index finger.
In that case, let's wrap it up and... let's hit them with the Whittier questions.
All right. Well, you answered one of them.
No, that wasn't the first one.
So if you were to venture off somewhere and get a bite to eat, where would it be in the city?
Or a drink. What's your go-to spot? Other than the 40.
Yeah. Oh, okay, thank you, because I was going to say, that's just my end all.
That's why I wasn't going to ask it.
Oh,
that's the default answer.
No, I've really fallen in love with the guys at The Commoner and CGK. George and Kevin, and Steve, Pete. Those guys, they have my trust as to put whatever they make in front of me, and it's gonna become my new favorite dish. Your What's Up Whittier alumni Chef Ted is amazing as well. Rat Toast, but those are my go-to spots.
Oh man. Okay, so just quickly for happy hour, we've really started digging Ravello because they have these amazing wood fire pizza. Again, going back to pizza, Ravello's good. Yeah, I love CGK. God, what I can't think of a bad place that I don't like to go. I started a Bailey Street Kitchen. I don't think they get enough love for the stuff that they churn out. They have really good dishes. Yeah, you said the 40, so that's covered.
Yeah.
What's your guys' family spot that we're taking the kids?
Murray Calendars, Saturdays, kids eat free.
Saturdays and Tuesdays.
I'm asking because I gotta jot this down.
Yeah, no. If you need to find a spot for where kids eat free, just send us a DM. We got every day of the week covered.
Do you guys know Red Oak?
Yeah. Do they?
Yeah, they have what? Is it Tuesday or Thursday? Kids eat free.
Nice.
So,
okay, we'll have to add that to our list.
Barbecue guys, so I'm like, man, how else?
You and the wife go eat somewhere, and then you take the squatters.
Dickies does that also on Sundays.
Dickies on Sundays.
Yeah, Dickies on Sundays. Yeah. So there's a lot of good spots.
So what you're missing out on?
Oh,
Remo?
okay.
Yeah, Remo.
I just remembered. No, okay. So one of my favorites now, the Casa del Cocinero.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! If you have not had their queso fundido, oh my god, it's divine.
That is good.
It's again another gift from God, made of rainbows and unicorn tears.
That's right.
So yeah, but again, there's just so many places, big and small. Like we love visiting all of them. So if you guys know of a place, let us know.
And if there was one thing you would like to see in Whittier, what would it be?
I have this totally down. I practiced this in the car. No, I didn't. What came to me first was either Skateland. I want Skateland back, or I want some kind of music and arts venue. I know we have the Whittier Community Center, which I grew up in. I love that place, but it's not as accessible to, like a small band that wants to do a show on a weekend. Like we don't have a lot of smaller venues for performing arts, for music shows, and Skateland because I want to roller skate, and there's nowhere around here to do that. And bowling.
You tried on Greenleaf with the those little balls that come from the tree.
That's dangerous.
Bring your helmet, your elbow pads.
Right?
And the new question? Or sorry, go ahead.
No, I was. It isn't necessarily like a physical place, but I would really love to see more like clubs or groups like on social media that like, do like.
You said like a runners.
Yeah, like I would love to find like, a runners club of just a group of people that like, I want to start running again. And I wish there was just somebody that like had an account and said, hey, we're going to meet up at this place, or like a hiking club or cooking club, or just something to like bring people together, but like on mutual interest. That I think that'd be kind of cool.
That's really neat.
So I've tried that on. I don't know if you've tried Meetup.
Is that it? I'm married.
Come on, Jesse.
That's a different website.
Damn, I already give it away. There's a website called Meetup, which is same thing. You find people who are looking for the same thing. Just kind of pop up Meetup, whatever group.
Yeah.
The bad thing about it, at least for me, that I noticed is that you show up and it's kind of like it's one of those things where like, are you here for so and so? Like, and then they're like, no, and they start looking at you like, who the hell is this guy, creepy guy coming up to me? Huh?
You probably shouldn't take a book of poetry with a rose in it.
Or you find people who are like very like introvert,
Yeah.
and so you can't squeeze a word out of them. And it's like, well,
that's hard.
This was supposed to be a talking group.
They'll
now.
text you though. Right?
Yeah.
That's why it's like we got to keep it located in Whittier.
Yeah.
I think we're all friendly enough. We're the friendly town, but stuff like that would be really cool.
No, that's awesome, man. You're right. It makes sense, especially with being so close to different things.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Anything else
awesome.
you guys, or I guess, how do they find you or follow you guys?
So you can find us on Instagram at We Are Whittier, and we have our website, wearewhittier.com, and we also have a small presence on Facebook.
We have like a half a presence. We have a, hey, if I remember to share it to Facebook kind of presence. So,
but yeah, if you have any interest in sharing a story, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a DM.
Oh yeah, quickly to that point though, I think people are intimidated and think that we go out and seek out stories and invite people, which is partially true, but we count on you guys to volunteer and send us DMs and say, hey, I want to share something. So, let us know. We'd love to have you. We're not exclusive. We don't seek people out. We will because we need stories, but we want to hear from you guys voluntarily. So,
and stay tuned for Jesse's pizza story next week.
Oh, man, that could go forever.
Comparing all the pizzas. All right.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you guys.
Bye,
See you later, Whittier.